Good afternoon. Happy Thanksgiving. Since I woke up this morning, I debated on whether or not I was going to make a post today. Mainly because it's not going to be like happy and upbeat. Today is a really rough day for me. Um, I'm very family oriented. Thanksgivings are usually filled with me being surrounded by family, enjoying good food, conversation, all that happy shits. But this year, it's not happening. My parents are in Florida as well as my sister. My youngest son is with his dad, and I'm here with my daughters and my oldest son and his girlfriend. Um, because I was in the hospital for 5 days, all the money that I had left had to go into my gas tank and to buy the prescriptions that I needed in order to be able to keep moving forward in my healing progress. So we have nothing for Thanksgiving. I did have a freezer that had a bunch of food in it. There was a couple turkeys, some meat, but when I opened it up this morning, somewhere along the line, quite recently, probably while I was in the hospital, the freezer shit the bed. So today, right now, currently, I'm feeling pretty shitty about life in general, but I'm trying to maintain positivity. It could be worse. You know what I mean? I could be living on the street. I could still be in the same situation that I was in last Thanksgiving. Last Thanksgiving, I was in a house with people who did not like me, who barely hid the fact that they didn't like me. So it was literally like walking on eggshells with these people. So, I mean, I'm thankful for the fact that I'm not in that situation this year. Um, do I wish I was in a different situation? Yes. And I have to keep reminding myself this is going to pass. This is not permanent. This is temporary. I just need to get through it. Sometimes it's hard, um, especially right now. I miss my family. And spending 5 days in the hospital alone made me realize that some of the relationships that I thought that I had, I didn't really have. Um, my family is one of those relationships. I called my dad the day I was admitted, and then nothing. Nobody reached out to me, nobody called me, nobody messaged me, nobody did anything until I came home and posted that I was home. And then at 11 o'clock at night, my sister messaged me, "Are you alive?" Clearly, I'm alive. I made a post. You read it, or you wouldn't have reached out to me. Why didn't you reach out to me while I was in the hospital, lying in that bed alone? That's my biggest kryptonite, is being alone. Because when I'm alone, the negativity in my head starts trying to bubble through. And it's really hard to fight it because for the past 20 years, I've just given into it. It was just everything in my head was always right. I was worthless. I was trash. I was nobody. I was ugly. I was stupid. I was all these things. So when I'm alone, and instead of enjoying the peace, which most normal people would be like, oh my God, I got 20 seconds to myself. I'm going to enjoy this time. Not me. I don't I don't like silence. I don't like it when it's quiet. I need to have noise. I need to have a distraction. I need to have something to keep me from ripping myself apart, because fuck, if it's one thing I've learned in the past 3 months is literally I'm my own worst enemy, man. I will rip myself to shreds before anybody else will. I mean, I've been more unkind to myself than anybody ever has, with the exception of my ex. I mean, if you were to ask me today, Name one good quality about yourself. Today, right now, the way that I'm feeling, I can't find one. I know there are some. I know there are. But right now, I'm at such a low point that I don't feel it. And I struggled to make this post. But I felt like in order to be the authentic me, in order to really, really portray what goes on when you leave a relationship like I did, it wouldn't be fair to sugarcoat. It wouldn't be fair to just only post the good days, because it's not just good days. There's lots of bad days. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. Sometimes it fucking sucks. And it sucks because you don't have, like, even though it was shitty, at least it was still someone who was there. I'm lonely. And I feel like a failure today because my daughters and my son were sitting here with nothing while everybody else is celebrating all these great things. And what I've done is put us in a situation where we live in a shitty house with no heat and no hot water and nothing to put on the table. Like, I'm not a big, like, it doesn't matter to me what I eat on Thanksgiving. Typically, we don't do turkey because nobody in the house really likes turkey, so we would have ham. Or the past couple years, we did lasagna, meatloaf, whatever. It didn't matter what we ate as long as the family was gathered around the table and we could joke and we could laugh and we could. But this year, I don't feel it. And it concerns me because Christmas is coming. And I don't know. I know I need to pull myself up. I know I need to stop dwelling on shit that I can't control right now. Perception versus expectation. I expected to have a nice dinner of some sort, to put on my table for my kids. The reality is, I spent 5 days in the hospital. No one here has any way to get anywhere without me. No one here has any money. So I have to change my expectations. And that's the hardest part, is I don't want my expectations to change. I want what I want. I want my family. I want happiness and cheer, and just nobody's feeling it this year. And I know lots of other people are celebrating, and I'm so happy for everybody else. I'm so happy for all the people that are enjoying their day surrounded by the people that love them. And for the people who are struggling like I am, it'll get better. It's gonna get better. You just have to fight through it. Like I said, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Holidays, birthdays, those are the hardest after you leave a situation that's been toxic and abusive and narcissistic, because you have been dependent on that person for so long that when that security, that stability is taken away from you, it takes a lot to adjust to. And I've had to swallow my pride a lot to ask for help that doesn't seem to be coming. And so I'm just still trying, still trucking, still moving forward, still doing what I gotta do. But I will tell anybody out there who's listening to me, social services, they are not the answer that you think they're gonna be. Because logically in your head, you'll be like, I worked, I paid taxes, I need help now, I should be able to get help. But that's not how it works. The reality of the situation is the state of New York picks and chooses the people that they help. And from my perspective, it seems like they pick the people who put themselves in the shitty situation. And by that, and please, I don't want to offend anybody. I'm not telling you, I'm not saying or insinuating that people with drug addictions are less than. But what I'm saying is, these are people in where I live, at least, the drug addicts are the ones who get all the help. And I feel like maybe if I was a crackhead and I walked in there with needle marks in my arm, maybe they'd help me a lot quicker. I don't know. I can't prove it, but I know what I've seen when I've been in there. And I know that I've seen people who look like they just need to go to rehab and get their shit together. And then there are people who are legitimately like desperate, clinging to any last straw for help. To have them, to be told, try harder. Try harder. There's nothing more frustrating than explaining to somebody that you have exhausted every resource that you have and you still need their help. And they just look at you. Try harder. You gotta try harder. Find a food bank. Find this. Find that. As if gas is a infinite, like, as if I have money to just keep putting in my gas tank to roll around to all these different places. Because we live in a rural enough area where, yeah, there's a food bank in where we live, but it's a small food bank. And we have 5 people living in this house. It's not enough. So in order to get enough, we have to travel. Sometimes half an hour. Sometimes 45 minutes to find another food bank. And it's like, okay, well now I was just in the hospital. Before I went into the hospital, I spent $40 on medications. And then coming out of the hospital, I spent my last $12 on medication that I needed. And gas. I literally have like 55 cents to my name. And as I'm sitting here watching my daughters mope around, my ex is sitting in a warm home with hot water, probably enjoying a wonderful meal. If not in a home, he's gone out somewhere. And we're sitting here like discarded trash. Like we don't matter anymore. It's not going to be like this next year. By this time next year, I'm going to accomplish the goals that I want to accomplish. And by this time next year, there's going to be so much happiness and joy at my Thanksgiving table that I'm not going to know what to do with it. And I'm going to make it happen because this fucking sucks. It sucks. And this right here, this moment, is the moment where most people say, you know what? I'm going to take him back. Because at least the monster you know versus the one you don't. I put up with it for 20 years. Why can't I keep putting up with it? At least then I don't have food insecurity, housing insecurity, financial insecurity. Don't give in to that thought, because it'll never change. He might be happy that you want him back. Things might change for a little while, but they won't change for long. And it'll go right back to the same old bullshit. And yeah, you'll have that Thanksgiving dinner, but you'll be fucking miserable anyways. At least now, my misery is my misery. I'm causing my misery right now because it's my perception versus my expectations. It's my fault that I'm upset right now. It's rough because none of the shit that I'm used to is here anymore. Don't let these moments fool you into thinking that things were better. Don't let these moments fool you into thinking if I just kept my mouth shut, shit would have been easier. Because, yeah, maybe it would be. Maybe things would be easier. Maybe you'd have that $30 turkey. Maybe you'd have, all the trimmings and everything. But there would be something. There would be some fight. You would do something wrong. And it would just be something. At least right now, I'm upset. I'm going to make this video. I'm going to purge this feeling. And then I'm going to pick myself up. And I'm going to fucking move on. And tomorrow morning, I'm going to go to the courthouse. And I'm going to go to social services. And tomorrow morning, I'm going to kick tomorrow morning's ass. Because that's how you move forward. You don't move forward by miring yourself in fucking fear and doubt and what ifs and maybe if I. Because one thing that I can tell you with absolute clarity, you will never change a narcissist. It doesn't matter how many times you beg and plead and cry and show them your emotions. Because that was my problem, is I am a person, if you come to me and you say, Anna, you upset me when you did this, I will feel bad for making you hurt in any way. I don't want to hurt people. I don't mean to hurt people. My ex, he didn't care because he didn't see me as being hurt. He would tell me that I was stupid for feeling the way that I did, that I was over-exaggerating, that I was building shit up, that it wasn't true, that he wasn't being that way, and that I was sensitive. All these things were my fault because of my emotions. My emotions are not wrong. Emotions are not wrong. It's okay to feel things. And I spent so long being kicked about that I stopped. I stopped feeling things. The only thing that I felt was like apathy and sadness. Like nothing else. Things that should bring me joy didn't bring me joy. It just was like, oh, okay, whatever. So now that I can feel these things and I have the freedom to feel these things, something simple as a hug can wreck you. And then that pulls into focus that, hey, you've been so deprived of the simplest of basic human decency that you can be floored by a hug. And I never considered myself a hugger. I didn't want people to hug me. Please don't hug me. It's awkward. But holy fuck, sometimes you just need that hug. You know what I mean? You just need someone to fucking pull you in and hug you and tell you it's gonna be okay. It's fine. Everything's gonna be fine. So this is me sending everybody out there who's feeling like this right now. This is me sending you a virtual hug. It's fine. It's gonna be okay. You got this. We got this. We're going to get through it because that's the only option. The only other option is failure. And I'm not failing myself or my children anymore. I'm not going to spend the next 40 years of my life letting someone dictate to me what my worth is. So here's my hug from me to you. Happy Thanksgiving. And I hope you have a blessed day.